John Cantrell on the end, Sidney Simmons, Forrest Fleming, and Dr. Alfred Hamer next to us. And I want to introduce Kelly Russell as our recording secretary, and Becky Brinkley is interpreting for our deaf community. And at this time, I'm going to introduce a very exciting project, program, as Vance Patterson is here with us, and I greatly appreciate him being here tonight to show us something that is going to be exciting for the young people in Burke County and the adults in Burke County. His wife, Mary Jo, is with him. Vance is has an industrial manufacturing company in South Carolina. He lives and has been for 19 years up in the Nebo, Burke County area, around the lake. He has 4 grown children. Many of them went to school with my children. So at this time, Vance, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you present this wonderful program.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I know it's not on the agenda to do this, and it's a special meeting, so thank you for being here. A couple of years ago, Mary Jo and I were up in Washington, D.C., visiting with some of the congressmen up there and also some of the organizations. And while we were there, we decided to go by the National Archives. I'd never seen the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence before, and thought this would be a very good time to do it. So there are 3 documents: the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and our Bill of Rights. And they're known as the Charters of Freedom. They're on display in this rotunda, this large room, and it was really neat. It was like you were walking into a bank building, these huge doors, then these iron gates, and then you walked in, and there were the documents on the other side of the room. And of course, they're under glass, they're protected, armed guard. This is a view from the top, looking down. This is the Declaration of Independence on the left, Constitution in the center, and the Bill of Rights on the right. They're the original documents, handwritten back in the time of our founding fathers, and it was really impressive to see them, to just stand there and look at them. This is the Declaration of Independence. Of course, the Constitution, we the people of the United States, and the Bill of Rights. Now, the Bill of Rights you almost couldn't read. It had faded so much, it was really hard to see. Well, we stood there and looked at them for a while, just kind of soaked up the moment as much as you could in the presence of something that our founding fathers had done. And then as we got ready to leave, 2 things occurred to me. First of all, I'll probably never see them again, because it took me 62 years to get up there. And second, most people will never ever see them. Even though they're free and on display up there, it still takes the effort to get to Washington and go in and see them. Now, most of you know I ran for U.S. Congress. And I'll tell you, I never studied so hard in my life as when I was running for Congress, not in high school or in college. You see, we were having 2 and 3 debates a week across the 17 counties. And they were asking us questions on the economy, immigration, health care, the environment, energy, the Constitution, founding fathers, and on and on. And embarrassment is a tremendous motivator. So I wanted to be prepared. Well, as I studied, I've learned that we had 2 founding fathers that were very big on education. I had to read a lot about education. Benjamin Franklin, author, musician, printer, political theorist, politician, postmaster, scientist, inventor, sage. Tremendous wisdom. And Thomas Jefferson, who was our 3rd president, was author of the Constitution, or the Declaration of Independence. He was also a farmer, an inventor, and he was a small businessman in that he started a nail manufacturing company that actually made money. Well, these 2 founding fathers believed that our education system should have 3 levels. A primary level to teach our youth how to function in life. And this is where you get the reading, writing, and arithmetic. And then the secondary level of education, to teach our youth how to survive in life. This was where you got into accounting, living languages, geography, history, and some of the trades. And then the 3rd level, or more advanced level, is where you got into the sciences, the arts, professions, and what's known as the culture of virtue. Well, as I studied these guys, they were very, very strong on history, civics, and government, because they knew that if we were to have a free society, we had to understand how our government was going to work. Well, as my campaign wound down, I started thinking about the experience that Mary Jo and I had up in Washington, seeing the charters of freedom, and wondering if there wasn't a way that I could bring that experience back to the people of Burke County to experience here. So I started working on a project 12 months ago. It's an educational project. And here's the scope of that project. First of all, to design and build a replica of the Charters of Freedom and display as exhibited in the National Archives, and put it on display here in Burke County on the old courthouse square. There would be all three documents: the Declaration of Independence on the left, 4 pages of the Constitution in the middle, and then the Bill of Rights on the right. This is architectural drawings done by Robert Salisbury here in town that I began working with him back earlier this year. What it shows is that the centered piece with the Constitution in it would be 12 feet long, 2.5 feet high in the front, 3.5 feet high in the back. The 2 side displays for the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights be about 4 by 4 and 3.5 feet tall. The foundation for these would be poured concrete, reinforced, and the structure themselves would be reinforced poured concrete covered by limestone to match the building that we've got on the square. The center panel would be marble or granite. Now, this is a top view looking down. 4 chambers for the Constitution. Now, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights by themselves, Mary Jo, if you'll come up and give them an idea, they'll be 23 inches by 29 inches. This is an example of what they'll look like. This is 1/4 inch bronze, etched. This one plate weighs over 60 pounds. There would be 6 of these. This is the first page of the Constitution. And it's done so you can read it, not just in the script of the Founding Fathers, but you can actually read this. All right, this is back to the front panel. You can see here in the center, emblem of the United States. On the back lower left side will be a time capsule to be opened on 2087, 74 years from now. On the back right side would be a wall plate dedication plaque. Now, this is for education and also for celebration. I can envision teachers scheduling field trips down to the courthouse to sit on the lawn, look at the Constitution, look at our Bill of Rights, and look at the Declaration of Independence, not in a book or some simulated piece of parchment, but actually under glass, as close to the experience that Mary Jo and I had up in Washington. This can also be the foundation for a variety of celebrations downtown to add as a backdrop. And if you look close here, you can see Mary Jo in the background when I took this picture. The other people obviously were simulated in. This can be a really good reason for people to come to downtown Morganton to see Burke County's Charters of Freedom. Now I'm going to stop right here and see if there's any questions before I go on.
Sir?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a statement here, please. My name is George Harris, Valdez, Connecticut, 79 here. And I'm a paper reader too. Where did this come up here? I am a paper reader. Now, I know about the Constitution, and I know about the 3 branches of federal, state, and local government. I test that for the last 50 years. And I want to keep up with what's going on in this county and Burke County and all that necessary stuff. But when I read this paper here that y'all put out, City Council commissions display, discuss a display. Well, the display was talking about putting up a monument either in the old Burke County Courthouse or the new Burke County Courthouse. Well, let's see now. When you have a meeting like this, my studies are that this is a public meeting, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
It is,
If you
Mr.
see
Ferris.
anybody here from up in the mountains or down in Valdez or what eastern part of the county, and just hold a minute, sir. I'm doing the damn talking now. You just hold on a minute. You have violated the law, sir. You're doing something that nobody knows about but you folks. This is a public meeting, and I suggest now that it be canceled until August the 19th. Are you with me?
No.
Well, you're pretty damn, you're about like the president is, sir. President does everything, Obama, let's make it sure, Obama does everything he wants to do, but he won't tell you until about a week or so ago.
Charlie,
That's been over.
Charlie, point of order, if you will.
I'm doing the talking
Well,
now.
no, wait, this is a public hearing, a meeting, but not a public hearing and not for public comment. And you'll
Well,
have,
why don't you, if it's a public thing, why don't you invite the people of Burke County, all of the people of Burke County to come to this?
We
Not
did.
just Morganton.
we did, we put it out in the paper that it's a public hearing.
Master, that ad was put in the 25th of July, and it would come back out again August the 4th. Now, what you want to say, is that time, due and timely notice will be given of any kind of meetings, a public meeting? Do you think it's, giving you time
Well,
to get everybody in the county listed? And
till you hear it, Charlie,
what?
till you hear the program, till you hear the presentation, you don't know what it's gonna be. And so, we'd ask that you cooperate and hear the conversation and hear the presentation, and then if you got comment, come to the chairman of commissioners meeting, and you can have all the comments you want on it.
Well, is this gonna be, are we gonna do this again when we get some people from the east and the western part to hear this meeting? Are we gonna do it again?
Well, I don't know.
We just asked the
I can't
question.
speak for
Mayor.
nobody but
Mayor.
me.
Huh?
I can't speak for nobody but me. I don't control my 4 commissioners.
I
But-
think it should be
but-
closed now. That's the law. Anything else?
I'd be happy to make this presentation to anybody else that'd like to see it. So if
Would
you've
you-
got a
Would
group.
you again make it again?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't really like that idea whatsoever. We will have one meeting, public meeting, that's it.
Well,
I
I mean,
know,
I've mentioned for people that couldn't be here tonight,
Let me
like,
tell you something. I've already contacted the mayor of College Springs, the mayor of Rutherford College, the mayor of Hillbrand.
I'm going to call the meeting to order, Mr. Ferris. Would you please have a seat? Okay? Thank you for coming up. We appreciate it.
That's what I figured you would say, Mayor.
We appreciate you coming in and
I'll be
saying what
happy
you
to
had
meet
to
with
say.
others
We
and
appreciate
make
it.
the presentation.
Thank you.
I need them,
Any other questions?
I have no 100,000.
Shorter questions?
100 years.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
can you show us sort of where all of the displays will be in relationship to the building? You have
Yeah. We looked at a variety of different locations here in town, 15 different locations. We looked at the old courthouse, looked over here at the new courthouse, and also down here at the library. And based on a recommendation, from the city landscape architect, engineer, we came up with this location here on the north side of the courthouse. And the reasons being were that it fits well with the other historic pieces in the area. It works very well with the local and state history presented on the courthouse square. It'll increase traffic to the museum. It's a high-traffic area for cars and pedestrians. It's a natural gathering place for young people and others. It's one of the busiest areas for the TGI Friday. And I know these are a lot of kids walking around downtown, just milling around. But if you can imagine them stopping and looking at the Constitution for the first time, and seeing that it's only 4 pages long, seeing our Bill of Rights and realizing that the Bill of Rights is our first 10 amendments. That's something I didn't even know until I ran for Congress. Looking at the First Amendment, which guarantees the right to assembly, the right of free speech, the right of religion, the right to petition our government, and it's only 47 words long. Looking at the Second Amendment and seeing that the right to raise a militia and the uninfringed right to bear arms is only 27 words long. And how simple it is and easy to understand. I call this passive education, to where they can wander around and do this. Other people coming and sitting and watching, looking for the first time at it. Also, the north side is the cooler, shaded side of the courthouse, which would be good for the class instruction, for celebrations, and for people that just want to sit and think about what they read. It's also protected from the sunlight and heavy storms, which would make it last longer and lower maintenance.
Vance, what is your time schedule for what you have to do to pull it together?
To order the limestone to go on it has been projected for 16 weeks. So we're a good 3 months out before we can do anything. This is the location that we're talking about, in between the two flagpoles. This is the approach. And then Michael Burley did a artist rendition of what it would look like. Opening this up, you can now see the two flagpoles, and it opens up that side of the courthouse, which is really a beautiful angle on the courthouse. This is an artist rendition of a 3D drawing, dropping the units in there. And again, this is without landscaping or anything else being done. This is just kind of what they would look like. And then again, with the students sitting and people walking by, we believe it's got the greatest visibility, the greatest traffic, and the greatest potential for helping to educate our kids and people coming downtown. And this is the picture that says it all to me. Seeing a young girl crawl up there to see the Constitution for the first time. I don't want our people, our kids, to talk about the Constitution. I want them to talk about their Constitution, because they've got one right here in Burke County that they can go down and see. Other questions?
Mr. Patterson, would anything, are you proposing anything to be moved at the existing location, landscape and trees, does this fit what's existing? Or?
You know, that's up to the city as to what they're going to be doing.
Blue spruce will probably all come out.
It's talking about relocating that, and so it'll be easier to get to and get around.
And the blue spruce will be replaced somewhere else.
Now, the question's been raised, how much this is going to cost. No, I don't know whether everybody's afraid to ask or what, but
That was my next question. How's the transference occur? And,
Yeah.
and how's the city involved and how's the county involved? I'm sure the public would like to know that.
I worked with Gant Stevens and Robert Salisbury to try to estimate the cost of the project. Latest estimate would be somewhere between $42,000 and $46,000. Obvious question to follow is, how will this be paid for? This will be a gift from Mary Jo and I to the people of Burke County and our school system. We believe it's that important to experience what we did up in Washington and bring it back here. All we ask is that you all support this project as it moves forward, and we'll do the rest.
I think it's fantastic for our children and adults, as I said earlier. And I believe my council will be behind it. I'm going to make a motion that we accept your gift and work with you on the time schedule that you will need to put it in the location. Hopefully, let's get through one more Christmas with the blue spruce. Have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion of my amendment? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, so we're set on our side.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, same motion for the county.
Okay, We have a motion, gentlemen. All those in favor, or is there any other question?
One more time, Vance, you're taking care of all the cost of the entire project, is that correct?
Of the monuments themselves, landscaping, and that will be up to the city.
Okay.
City
We tried to pick a location where we don't have to move that much, do sidewalks and things like that. But Mary Jo and I will be in charge of doing all the foundation and everything on the displays.
Any other questions? I had a discussion with Mayor Corn a little earlier, and I said that I was going to give you 3 options of how you wanted to handle it, but you have a motion, so that kind of eliminate those options, I think, at this point. Ready to vote? All those in favor, raise your right hand. 5-0, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
I want to thank all of you, thank Vance and Mary Jo for everything. Is there any questions? By the way, there's some leaflets up here that Vance wants you to take home with you and share them with your family. And he'll be here to answer questions. I'm going to adjourn my city council members.
I will adjourn mine too, but did want to take a second. Sally Sanders here, and Brian Steen,
Appreciate
county
you.
manager, and Madam Clerk is here taking minutes. Our counsel, J.R. Simpson, is here. Just wanted to make sure that they were introduced. I will call for adjournment of the county commissioners for this special meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Madam Clerk, 5-0, we are adjourned.
Thank you, Mayor.
Up here. Yes, sir. How you feeling?